Today, we are going to solve LeetCode problem number 58, length of last word. We are given a string S consisting of words and spaces. We have to return the length of the last word in the string. For the first example, we have our string as hello world. We have to return 5, which is nothing but length of the word world. For the second example, we have length of the word moon, which is 4. We have to ignore the trailing spaces. And for the third example, we are returning the length of word joy boy, which is 6. So if we discuss the code snippet here, we are given a class solution with a public method called length of last word defined in it, which is of integer type since we are returning length of the last word, and we are given string s as a parameter, which was nothing but our input. So for this question, our approach will be, let's say we have a string called the moon, the, then we have a space here and moon, then we have two trailing spaces here. So we have to return the length of moon here, which is nothing but 4. So for this, we will iterate from the end of the string. If we find an empty space, then we have to skip it in our iteration. So we will use continue here in our if else statement. We will just give a string of I equals to empty space, then continue. We will skip it, and if we don't find an empty space, like here we are getting n, so we will just increment our count variable, which we initialize from 0. Let's say count would be 0 initially. Then we will increment it if we don't have empty spaces. Here count will get incremented, here incremented, and if we find an empty space again, then we will just break our loop and return the value of count. So this is how we will find our length of last word. So let's quickly code our approach. First of all, we will declare an integer count, which will store our length of last word. Then we will run a for loop backwards for iterating our string, and I equals s dot length minus 1 till I is greater than equal to 0, and we will decrement our I. Now we will write our conditions, like if we find an empty space, then continue, else if it's not an empty space, then increment our count. Also, if we find an empty space and our count is greater than 0, then break the loop. So if our s of I is an empty space and we find count greater than 0, then break the loop. Finally, we will return our count, return count, and we will run it. Mm, just a second. Okay. Submit it.